Dun dun dun. I have returned. Hey, it's been a while since I did one of these um, Gideon's takes. Today I'm going to be talking about, my testimony when it comes to being in China. Um, a lot of times people ask me why did I come here? How did I get here? And it's such a long story, and there's so many things. Probably have to break this up into two parts because, three parts, because like it's a lot to say. But in 2017, I just finished my associate's degree program in Cyprus, and I was back in the Gambia. I was supposed to be taking a gap year, and the plan was actually to do a 3 month program with Youth for Christ in Canada, and I was really looking forward to that. I thought it could open up a lot of doors. It would have been an experience, I guess. And so I was talking to them, and I was working on that. And in the meantime, I started doing an internship at a hotel, and yeah, things seemed fine. Everything seemed mapped out. But at the time, I got into a relationship that I shouldn't have got into, and the reason why I say I shouldn't have gotten into it was because I felt like it wasn't the time to even be in a relationship in the first place. Like, it wasn't what God would have me do, and particularly that relationship. And throughout the weeks turned to months, I kept on feeling like God was like saying, you shouldn't be in this thing. It's not good for you, And I was trying to brush it off like, nah, it's not God saying that to me. It's not God saying that to me. And I kept on having this feeling like, what, if you keep on with this, like this other thing you're trying to do, going for this Youth for Christ program was not going to work out. Like it was just a weird feeling, like that. And I was feeling that every day, you know. But I kept on with it, And at the end of the day, the Youth for Christ thing didn't work out, because as crazy as it sounds, I didn't get the visa to go because of some funny reason or whatnot. And then there had to be plan B, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna directly look for schools to get back in school, and continue with my studies after that. And so, I mean, I did get out of the relationship eventually, and just a lot of things happened, which I guess is another story, But then I started trying to get into different schools, and it was kind of tough, and big family, we have big family, and most of us were at that, or a lot of us were at that stage where, we're in pursuing higher education at the time. So I didn't want to, I had to look for a place that wasn't so expensive to go, I guess. And then that went on for about a couple of months, and was it in March or April, whatever it was, finally I don't know how this whole China thing came up, but I just started looking at schools and whatnot. I was actually thinking about going to South Africa, actually, but my parents were not really for that. If I really pushed on it, I guess I could have gone, but then, I don't think it was God's will anyways. So found this school in China, and I started applying, and it seemed like I was late, but I just had faith in my heart, and I was trying every day, that, I just needed to get out there, wasn't a good place for me to be. And, so God provides, right on time, the money for everything. I mean, right on time, but that's another story in itself. And I get accepted really late, like around March or so. I'm like, I really have to hurry up and whatever. And so I take a trip to Dakar. And I take a trip to Dakar and to go get my visa, right? And I apply, and they give me, like after a week, they give me back my passport and everything, without a visa, but they did not reject me. They just gave it back to me. So I guess in a way that's rejection. I don't know, whatever. And I was kind of confused. I was like, what is going on here? So I reapplied, and they gave me back my documents just the same way they did the first time. That made like 2 weeks, and this went on for like, I don't know. I think I was there for like a month or so, and I was there largely alone, and I was just it was a weird and strange time because I didn't even know what was going on. And finally, at different points, my mom came to see me just to encourage, all the way from Gambia, took a road trip, which she hates and it's very uncomfortable for her, so God bless her. She came, did that just for a few days. My dad was left and came. I think he came twice, I think, at some point. Anyways, the second time he came, this is funny because we went to the embassy. And the funny part about it is that when we got to the embassy, we happened to see a Chinese lady who was working in there. And we just asked her what was going on. And it turned out that all it was that was the wrong place for me to be applying for a student visa. I had to go to another country. That was all it was, And I had to be there for like a month or so. Anyways, so that happened, and next move was either what was it? There was talk about me going back to Gambia and then getting a Gambian passport because I had lived there for so long, or I would have to go to, where was it? I would have to go to Nigeria or somewhere else, one of those countries. I was like, you know what? I'm not going back to Gambia. I'm just not going back. I'll go to Nigeria, and I haven't been there. At the time, I hadn't been there for so long and whatever, But anyways, so I'm going to Nigeria and all that. And I remember on the flight, I met this guy. I'm not really the kind of person that goes around to just, talking to everybody like that, but I met this guy on the plane, and through him joking about me getting up a lot because, I kept on getting up and whatnot. And we just started talking and we got along real well. He was a great guy. His name is Malik. And we were talking and we just got along and we were just talking like he went. The first 3 hours of the flight went like a breeze. And then we got to Abidjan, and then we were supposed to get a connecting flight to Lagos. And he happened to be going to Lagos too. So we go, and the funny thing is we're at the airport and we hear the announcers just as we get to Abidjan. They're like, they call out both of our names, only the two of us, that we had to hurry to go catch our flight, So we were rushing through the whole security checks and blah, blah, blah. And we get on the plane, and everything is going well. We're talking, we're laughing, like we're having a ball. And then all of a sudden, I wanted to get like Mentos that I knew I had in my pockets, for a while. And I tried to get it, and I wasn't there. And then it occurred to me, I was like, wait a minute. Because I know that the same pocket that I had the Mentos in, I had my wallet. And my wallet had my Visa card and my money, all the money I had in my Visa card, everything was in the wallet. And I didn't feel the Mentos and I didn't feel the wallet. But you just want to cross check because you're like, even though you already know it's not there, like, you know what, let me just check and find out. I put my hands in my pockets, I check everything, my bag is not there. Man, I'm like, when it hits you, you're like something so crazy, you just have to start laughing at first because you're like, wow, So I'm going to Nigeria that I haven't been to in a long time. I don't have any money on me, nothing. Then my phone, this is crazy. The phone had already started having some issues, but not serious issues. It powered off completely. Bang, out, gone. And I was just like, I had this peace within me, like, like God was telling me it's okay, it'll be fine, everything will be fine. I was like, all right, cool. So for the first a few minutes after that, I was a bit, then I calmed down, we continued talking for a bit, I started laughing, and then I was like, okay, yeah, God got me. Then after some time, I started thinking to myself, but wait, this is really serious. What am I going to do when I get there? And then I started letting panic, and fear come in, So we get to Lagos, and there was a funny joke, by the way. The air hostesses, the guy Malik told her about what happened, and she was like, but she was a funny girl. We started talking to her, and she was like, what did she say? But she was like, but what is wrong with you? That kind of thing. It was so funny to me, because like I said, we started talking, so it's just as if she became like, a friend in that moment, or an acquaintance, whatever. So anyways, we get to Lagos. Everything is cool. They welcome me, everything. I tell the officials as soon as I get there what happened, and that I need them to try and contact the people in Abidjan to look for the wallet. Right off the bat, they already like, it's not likely, it's probably gonna be gone, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, I've got to get my wallet, So I'm there at the airport, my phone is dead, right? There was a taxi driver that, my dad, because my dad had connections, knew people in Nigeria, that he got to wait for me, right? I can't even call him, I can't say anything. I don't know nothing, I cannot reach the guy. I was just like, what is going on here? What is going on? So I'm trying to talk to the people, to try and contact the people in Abidjan. I go talk to them. They tell me it's going to take a few days. So I'm like, okay. Now, how do I even find this guy? Because I can't call him now because my phone is dead. I can't even call my parents, Anyways, luckily for me, the guy I was with, Malik, right? This guy was like God sent, man. I will never forget this, And he stayed with me the whole time. He helped me make the call so I could call my folks back in the Gambia, and then they were able to call the guy and told him to wait and whatnot. And I can't remember what it was. And then we had a hotel I had already booked and all that. So it was crazy. So I told my parents what happened. They were worried about me because they hadn't heard from me for hours. Like I was in the airport for hours, by the way. This is not like 10, 20 minutes or something. And Malik was there waiting the whole time. And he had an escort with him, waiting for him. But he waited for me and kept them waiting too, So it was just like, wow, God bless him, man. And so, okay, yeah. I get to speak to the driver because I guess I got the number from my folks back in the Gambia, and then I called, I think, with Malik's phone. We go outside, we meet the guy, and then Malik comes up to me and he gives me this, because he knew I didn't have any money, and he gives me a bunch of money. I'm like, no, it's okay, man, because I'll just go to the hotel tomorrow. My folks are gonna send me some money, so then I'll pay when I'm checking out or whatever it is. I was like, no, and he insisted. He just gave me the money and he went away. So I'm like, okay, cool. And it was a lot of money. I don't remember exactly. Okay, if I had to convert it, what it would be now. Anyways, whatever. So now I take the money. He goes, and I didn't even notice or pay attention to the fact that he had a police escort with him because I was so busy with, thinking of other stuff. So I get in the car, and then the driver is like, who's this guy? He has a police escort with him. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, we met him. I honestly wasn't even thinking about it, So, I guess whatever he was there to do was really important or significant, that he had a police escort with him. So I get to the hotel, and like, yada, 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 they know that I booked, and I was like, I'm supposed to be here for this amount of days and blah, blah, blah. And then they tell me I'm supposed to pay right there and then. And I thought that was like a bit strange because, in a hotel, you can, I guess most of the time you can pay when you're checking out, I guess. So they're like, you have to pay right now. I'm like, really? And they insist on it. So can you just imagine that if Malik had not given me that money, what would I have done? God just amazes me sometimes, man. So I had just enough to pay for about 2 nights, but I paid for one, and then I bought food and some other stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking to myself, can you imagine he had not given me that money, and I had not taken it. Anyway, so I did, and then the next day I was able to get money and stuff and, get things a little bit better, go back to the airport. Did I go back to the airport the next day? Yeah, I think I got a call, rather, right? They called the driver, or I don't know who they called. Was it me or the driver? I don't even remember because they had to call somebody, and I don't think I had a line at the time, whatever it was. And anyhow, I went to the embassy as well the very next day, to start the whole process. I had to get X and Y before I could do it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. So I remember coming back to the car when I was leaving the embassy, and the driver was like, "Oh, we got a call." I was like, and he had the face like, and he wanted to say they didn't find it, but in my spirit already, I knew he was gonna tell me that they had found it. And he was like, "They didn't find it." I was like, "Ah, you're messing with me." Immediately, I told him like, "Hey, you're messing with me. I know they got it," and he just laughed. So that was like incredible, and they were like, I should come the next day, I think, to come collect the wallet. And I go collect the wallet, and lo and behold, everything was in my wallet just as I had left it, right? Just as I had left it. Think about that. So I get my wallet. I continue with my whole process. I had to do X and Y. I was there alone, really. It was a strange time. I was in Dakar alone for a long time. Even when I was in Gambia, I was alone for a long time because of different things. And then in Nigeria, again, I was alone. And I just spend my days thinking, and just trying to talk to God and just thinking. No one else really to talk to. So sometimes I'll walk to the mall, go eat, and then come back, and I'll just spend the day thinking, just thinking. That's it, and for the most part. And yeah, finally I went to the embassy one day. Busy, busy, busy. I mean, Nigeria is a busy country, man, especially a place like Lagos. I had to do my interview and whatnot, and even the interview was funny because when there was another guy, a young man who was applying for visa too. Like there were a bunch of interviewers and whatnot. I think two women and a guy. And there was a particular guy that seemed to be like kind of pissed off, man. Like, like you could see or hear him like every time the door would open or so when he's talking to people or whatever. And the guy just seemed to be really on edge. And he would just like rejecting people like who are applying, bang, reject, bang, reject, bang, reject, bang, reject. And I knew this, and I was like, you know what, God, please don't let me even go to this guy. Let me just go to a calm, normal person, and have a normal discussion, get my visa, and I'm out to Lagos. But I had a feeling within me that it might be this guy. It might be this guy that I get. Anyhow, a young man goes in there. He comes out from that guy, and the guy did not give him the visa. I was like, whatnot. We could hear how tense the guy was. So most people didn't want to go to the guy, and I'm like thinking, oh, now I'm next, and I'm supposed to go to that very guy. But I'm like, God, you know what? It's all in your hands. Really, that's it. So I walk in there, like normal. We talk for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, maybe less. He just asked me. When I walked in there, he was calm. He didn't raise his voice. He was calm. He looked at me differently. He just looked at me in a different way. That's all. The only way I can say it. And that's why I talk about when God, just the favor of God. God, he just looked at me different. Talked to me different. All the documents and stuff, bank statements and all that they all that they will tell you beforehand is such a thing. He didn't even really like stress about anything. He just looked at this thing, blah blah blah, asked me this and that, where you're going, what is your family? Just simple questions I answered. He was just nodding. So calm, compared to how he was to everyone else, And then cool, he's like, okay, do this and you can go through. So I knew already, okay, I've got my visa, blah, blah, blah. And I came out there thinking to myself, like, truly, like, these are moments where you learn to really trust God, because God uses those things to really show you his power. It's like, you're thinking, nah, I don't want to be in this situation. It's terrible, whatnot. God is thinking like, oh, I'm going to take you to that situation and show you my hand, So that happens now. I'm set to get my visa, blah, blah, blah. And then I get my visa and I'm on my way to China, and it's a really long flight. Anyways, it was like, I don't know, really long. I went past through Doha, and then from Doha to Beijing, and then I took another flight from Beijing, and whatnot. But anyways, it was super long, and I was so tired. And I think I was not just tired from that flight, I was just tired mentally, emotionally from months of different things going on, spiritual battles and all sorts of things, and just isolation and all sorts of things, And I remember sleeping